and gentlemen, welcome to the RDFNL Footy Show. This week coming to you from Anzac Day here at the beautiful Tony Clark Reserve in Macedon, where we witnessed a pretty exciting game of football we'll touch on very, very shortly. Sean Kelly's my name. Joining me as always, Chris Yendi. Happy Anzac Day.
Happy Anzac Day to you too, mate. Now, did you get up for the dawn service this morning?
Didn't quite make it, unfortunately. Would have liked to. Jared Fitzgerald was asking us to get up there for it. Didn't quite make it though, but great to be here and seen plenty of Anzac ceremonies over the weekend at different games of football, so more than truly worth it.
Sensational, mate. I got called into the office, so unfortunately I had to miss it, but definitely worth it. Great game of football here today, and with the atmosphere and everything like that. So my first ceremonies for the day was this one, and I'm absolutely pumped.
Talking point number one was this game here at Tony Clark Reserve. Rupert's Wood 28 points up on the shadows of the three-quarter time siren. Couldn't hold on to it. Macedon kicking the last 6 goals of the game to take the victory. Yendi, in 1 minute, take us through the game.
Well, that's actually a hard one. It was a very low-scoring affair for probably the first half. The Sharks just kept chipping away, got away to a 28-point lead in the shadows, as you said. Macedon got a late goal, and then in the final term, they kicked 5 unanswered goals, all from marks as well. So they started winning the centre clearances. Matt Knox went goalless, but the midfield lifted. James Nipperwright, 3 last-term goals, simply sensational, got them over the line. We caught
up with a couple of the Macedon folk after the game. Teghan Henderson, one of the players that was absolutely fantastic in the half-back line, and the coach of the Cats, Jeff Andrews.
Yeah, thanks mate. It was awesome to come from behind, so it was fought and got the result.
Yeah, 28 points down in the third quarter. Just the defence needed to tighten up a little bit there, and started winning fish and good runs in there to start the last.
Yeah, it was all about the midfield, I reckon, in the last quarter. They just got on top and got the ball forward, and forwards did their job, so from my point of view, the defenders was good in these quarters, so it was good.
You guys did a really good job in the back line to switch the play around as well, just to try and create space for others.
Yeah, that's what we've been training for, so run and gun sort of thing from behind. We wanted to move quickly and get in the forward line, so that's what we did, so it was good.
Fantastic, mate. Congratulations, well done. Coach Jeff Andrews, congratulations, mate. So they gave you a bit of a scare.
Yeah, they did. They were probably the better team for maybe three quarters. And yeah, we were lucky to have a big last quarter from a couple of individuals, and the team improved significantly. So I guess being close enough for three-quarter time, yeah, they were really good Rupert's Wood, and in a lot of ways they deserved to win, but it was really good for our boys. They fought it right out, which was really pleasing.
You only kicked about 4 goals in almost 3 quarters of footy, and that was about the margin. What was sort of going through your mind at that time?
Yeah, look, we just couldn't find a way. We threw the magnets in the air. We tried lots of things, different players across half forward, and to Rupert's Wood's credit, all the numbers said we were going all right, but we just broke down across half forward. Having said that, we found a way in the last quarter. So you're right, first 3 quarters, they really restricted us, and then I don't know what we kicked in the last quarter, 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think you closed out the game with 6 goals. Who were some of your better players?
Look, hard to go past Nipperwright in the last quarter. Had him playing down back and was good and serviceable, but I think he might have kicked 2 or 3 and had a head and another couple. So he was good. Teghan Henderson down back. I think you guys would have had a chat to him after the game, and he's just the general for us. He's got so many games of experience. He knows what to do. And I think everybody lifted. A couple that were probably standouts.
Lastly, mate, so you're building a good side around young players as well. It's a good sign for the future.
Yeah, look, it is. There's 3 guys running around today that are still eligible for the under-18s. One of them's a bottom age, and probably I think he's still eligible for under-16s in Toby Sims. So, yeah, we're trying to build a good culture. Those kids, they're not getting games because they're kids, they're getting games because they deserve them. And they're good players, and they're going to be really good players for the kids, for the club. And maybe even at the highest end in time. But, yeah, they're great kids, and all 3 clubs say it, but having kids around, there's a bit of enthusiasm. People get around it when they do something good, so it's good for the older boys as well.
And what does this win mean to you guys?
I think it can be. Look, we beat Rupert's Wood, who we rate really highly. I think we're just about the best underway side in the last couple of years. That's what I said to our boys. So a win against them should, and from a position where you probably not many people would have expected us to win at three-quarter time, that should be almost season defining in that we know what we can do when we're up against it. So that doesn't mean we'll get 4 points next week. It just means that there's a bit of belief in the group, and a few of them are playing together for the first time, so they get to see what Nip is capable of, and a few other boys who really put their head down that are going against tough.
Congratulations, mate. All the best against Centrals next week.
Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate it.
Jeff Andrews from the Macedon Footy Club, as well as Teghan Henderson, two of the standout performers, one on the field and one in the coaching box here on Anzac Day. Speaking of standout performances, talking point number 2 this week was the other game that you saw for the weekend, the Riddle Bombers absolutely giving Romsey a towel up, and we spoke about goals last week. We get to speak about them again this week because the Big Rough has dropped 10 in.
Yeah, dropped 10. He had 6 straight on the board heading into midway through the second term. He was on
Got slack then.
He did. He
Come
got
on,
very
Ruff.
slack. He dropped it. He ended up finishing with a lazy 10 goals, 3. Most impressive part of that game, though, from the 19.5-minute mark to the 26-minute mark of the first term, the Bombers dropped in 6 goals. They basically broke the game. They turned a 4-point lead into a 40-point lead at quarter time and never looked back from there.
Half a chance to get a stat on camera here because the young kids' footy's just gone behind us. Half a chance to just farm a handball out and get the first stat of the weekend. Talking point number 3, the battle of the Kangaroos this week. Sunbury defeating Broadford. Broadford now zip 2. Not the start they would have wanted.
Definitely not the start they would have wanted. They lost to Macedon by 11 goals in round 1, then drop a 50-point loss there. But Ryan Pretty there for the Kangaroos. He stepped up in the wet against Romsey the other week.
Yep.
Did the job again with 4 goals.
His brother kicked 3 as well, so the Pretty boys were on form.
Yeah, they're pretty bloody good if you don't mind. So it was a great effort across the board. But Broadford, they do have their concerns. They made the prelim last year. High expectations this year, but you're pushing. You're up. Well, you're in a lot of trouble when you've.
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
probably safe that you didn't, given
Exactly.
that we're trying to keep this PG.
Absolutely, mate. So a bit disappointing there for Broadford, but hats off to the Sunbury Kangaroos, showing that they are a real contender in 2016.
Yeah, they are indeed. Let's have a look at this week's games. Round 3 in the Riddle District Football Netball League, and it starts with the game between Wallen and Woodend Heskett. Originally, if you've got an old copy of the fixture, it'll say this is at the GGO. Don't go there. Go to Green Hill Reserve. This game being played at Wallen. They've swapped their home and away games around. A really interesting game with Wallen coming off a round 2 win against the Centrals as well.
Exactly. We were talking about it last week on the show. The Centrals were dynamic and, well, were probably almost favourites going into the contest. Woodend Heskett, they're coming off the back of a 129-point win over Rockbank, set up with I think 17 goals to 1 or something in the second half, and giving themselves a lot of momentum.
Yeah, they have indeed. You're tipping?
I'm going to go the Hawks.
Yeah, I'll tip Wallen in this one simply because they're playing at home. I reckon probably that early season momentum swaps it around a little bit. Melton Centrals at Arnold's Creek this weekend against one of the teams we saw today, Macedon. This will be a very good game of football.
It will be a very good game, but if there's one team that can adapt to the space of the ground, it's definitely the Macedon Footy Club. We're here on the Tony Clark Reserve, and it is just a little bit smaller than Arnold's Creek, and this is one of the biggest grounds of the competition. So I think they're going to continue on that momentum. The Centrals have shown a lot of positive signs earlier on.
They have Jimmy Aquilina 7 goals on the weekend as well.
I heard from 8 kicks as well, lazy 7-1, so he's in top form. But he's a small player as well, and that's going to be a bit of a challenge, but they're probably going to need maybe Rick Sickman to step up and maybe kick a goal.
Matty Gilmore, obviously Johnny O'Brien as well. They get those guys going. It's going to make life very tough for Macedon, who took 3 quarters to shrug off Rupertswood today.
And Matt Knox, no goals on the board today after 10 in round 1, so maybe he can get some good form in there because Rupertswood backline were very well polished, especially Nash Egan, one of the best backmen in the competition.
Until the little nip man gets going, and then it's all sorts of drama, as we saw in the last 4 years today. Heard Joff talk about him before. James Wright, geez, didn't he stand up when it needed to today? If he does that next week, it's curtains for Melton Centrals, I reckon.
Certainly is. He's one of the fine leaders in this competition, Nipper Wright, so hopefully he steps it up again next week.
Macedon for mine.
Macedon for me.
Beautiful Macedon all around in that one. Rupertswood taking on the Sunbury Kangaroos. Huge game this one. The Telstra Soil Sunbury Cup in action for this one. Great to see Joseph Santoro supporting this game as he does every year, and this is going to be a pretty good game of footy because I don't think too many people expected Sunbury Kangaroos to be 2-zip, and they come up against a Rupertswood side that will be stinging after letting this one go here today.
Exactly, and I think that's the key point you made there. They really did let this one go. They had the game in the bag and they were overwhelmed by the pressure, and Sunbury have been in really good form, as you said, 2-zip. They did really well in the wet last week. Dry conditions this week beat a really good quality opposition, so I'm expecting them to continue that next week on a hard, fast deck.
Kangas for me.
Kangas.
We're agreeing. This is no good. We're
unreal.
agreeing with everything. Broadford taking on Riddle up at the Harley Hammond Reserve. Broadford need a win here, but it's not going to be easy against an informed Bombers side.
Well, it's going to be interesting with the Bombers because I did speak to Jamie Elliott after the game, and without James Nolan there in that forward line, it actually freed big rough up to kick big bags of goals. Jason Allen, who traditionally plays centre-half back, pushed down to that centre-half forward position, was that link man. Now you're going to be able
So
to...
you're basically saying Jimmy Nolan ship off, son?
Well, maybe you can just spend some time in the ruck, off the bench maybe a little bit, maybe play down back.
You're in the midday show. Play in the midday show. Come back through the screws.
Maybe go and play with Loza in the
Yes.
netball.
Probably be handy there too.
It would be too, but that's going to be a really good game and probably a really important game for Broadford. If they don't win this game or at least put up a huge fight, it could be curtains early on in 2016.
And yeah, it's going to be a tough one for them as well. I'm actually tipping Broadford just because they have to win this one, just due to the importance of it. I don't think you will. I think you'll tip Riddle. Am I correct there?
I'll have to tip the Bombers because when you beat the reigning premiers by 19 goals in a game of footy, it's hard to look past that great form. They were sublime. They come off injury free. They will get Nolan back in the team. I can't think of who they'll take out, to be honest.
Everything points to Riddle winning this game, but I've just got that feeling about Broadford that Dino Helmers will be imparting the absolute importance of this game onto the boys, and I think that they can get up for it if they're the side that we think that they are.
Yeah, definitely. They were good last year. Very good lineup they've still got this year. Perhaps even better. No reason to say they can't do it.
Grand final replay, or not the grand final replay, the grand final rematch this weekend. We can never have a replay unless it comes out exactly the same way, and never has a game of football been absolutely replayed like another one. Romsey are taking on Diggers Rest at Romsey Park this weekend. Fair to say the two teams look a little bit differently than that last day in September last year.
Definitely right there, and one of the key players from Romsey's team, Mark Young, showed some great signs earlier on in the game against the Bombers this past week. He's out with a broken foot, so that's a big impact. I mean, you take all the good confidence players that you can. They've just got to work hard and play possession footy, the Redbacks. So they're going to get the Tazari boys back, which is going to be exciting. But again, a big challenge against the Burrows, who they didn't have it their own way against the Tigers last week.
No, but I reckon Diggers Rest will win this pretty well.
Yeah, it's hard to see Romsey. I mean, under lights, anything can happen. You get a little bit of rain. It's happened up there a few night games, so we'll certainly see that one. But I hope Romsey did maybe get within 4 or 5 goals just to make it interesting, get them some confidence that club needs.
In the end, though, it'll be hollow to Diggers Rest getting a round 3 win when Romsey's won the last couple of count up against them on grand final day.
Spot on there, mate. I don't think there'd be any wrong there.
But if it gets them that step closer to getting there again this year, obviously it's well worth it. Last game for the weekend, Lansfield taking on Rockbank at Lansfield Park. And you think the Tigers will start pretty hot favourites in this one?
Well, Johnny Kent kicked 1 goal against Diggers, and the way Rockbank have started, they started good in the first half against Wood and Heskett last week and then dropped off. But Johnny Kent, look out. We talked about Big Rough and Noxie kicking bags of 10. I think
Johnny needs one.
He definitely needs. He kicked 6 goals against Wood and Heskett against a pretty good side a couple of weeks ago, so he's going to be in good form there. This will be a good chance to see where Lansfield are at. They beat Wood and Heskett by 17 points in round 1. Wood End come out and beat Rockbank by 130 points. Now it's up to the Tigers now.
So they should win by 147 is what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah. Through the process of elimination. So certainly a big effort from there. But Rockbank, they've got to take some confidence in and just never know. They can keep the margin within 10 goals. I think they can take it as a positive.
Yeah, definitely can. That's what it's all about this year for Rockbank, taking positives out of it. A positive is, ladies and gentlemen, that we will be back next week on the RDFNL Footy Show. We'll be behind the table, so you can't see the approximately 6 inches of height difference between this lanky old side and myself. So that'll be very, very good. And it's been very good, of course, having Jess and Killer behind us today, helping to produce and helping to keep this bloke in line as well. So thanks to Jess and thanks to Killer for looking after us today. Thanks to you, Chris Yang, for the RDFNL Footy Show this week. Great day of footy here at Macedon. Great week of footy in the RDFL, and we're looking forward to another one this weekend as we've got the little kids dabbing off camera for us as well, trying to suggest that we go out with a dab. So we might. That's the RDFL Footy Show for this week. Let's dab it out.